Hello and welcome. My name is Megan Walker, and today our very special guest is Dr. Frances Knight. Hello, Frances. How are you today?
Hi. Hi, Megan. Hello.
So good to have you here. Frances is doing such amazing work in the digital space. She's a specialist GP. And well, Frances, you're the best person to tell us more about you. Do you want to talk about your work, a bit of your background, and then the exciting creations that you're working on that are going to help new families, in particular new mums? So tell us about your background.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm a specialist GP and I have always wanted to work in sort of women and children care. And along the way, I found myself more even into, pregnant women and that postnatal journey that we all go on after having a baby. And, I think I found myself here after having my own children, but also, sort of from my qualifications and more formal experience as well. And so now a huge bulk of my work is actually working with new families who've just had a baby. It might be their first or their second, third, fourth, whatever, and caring for those new families as part of their journey as they navigate through. So that's really, really wonderful. That's something I really enjoy doing. And obviously my, qualifications as a GP helps me to do that because I can see the whole family, look after the whole family. I can think about male partners and I know stuff about that. And then there's, mum and then there's baby as well. So that helps out. But then, of course, I've also got more extended qualifications, having trained in pediatrics and obstetrics and gynecology. And also, I'm also NDC accredited, which is a sort of level up in something called neuroprotective developmental care, which is very much about new families and that sort of postnatal bubble and how we can journey through these early months. Because it's such a beautiful time.
I love that point of difference. We often, forgive me for saying this, but, going through my own journey, it was very much the mum's care and the obstetrics journey and the gynecological journey. But of course, being a specialist GP, you can bring the whole family into the fold. So tell us, what would you say are some of the challenges that new families are facing that you're particularly keen on helping them with, without going into too much detail?
Yeah, there are some common challenges and some of which I've been through myself, with my own baby. Knowing what to expect is one thing, because I think in pregnancy, our brains, but also the care we receive is really all about focusing on the pregnancy and on birth. And then we sort of stop. And I did that as well with my first baby. I was working in neonatal intensive care. I was working in pediatrics, yet my brain still was all about pregnancy and birth. And then I had my baby and I thought, I don't really know what to do now. So knowing what to expect is hard because there's just so many facets to babies and they require so much care. So that's one challenge, I think. We can get a bit, is that normal? And, we're bombarded with lots of information that's conflicting and not always helpful. So that would be the first challenge. And then the second challenge, I think, is milk feeding, because that's a really, really important part of the whole picture. Getting milk feeding going well is really going to help your baby's health, but help their settling and their sleep. And it's going to help your health as well and how you recover. But again, that's hard. That's a learned skill, whether you're breast or bottle feeding, and there's a lot into it. And so there's support available, but as women will find, we've had this big journey of pregnancy and birth, and particularly in the last weeks of pregnancy, you feel so cocooned and so supported. And then you have your baby and you're still a bit supported, but that support really drops away. And so you can feel a little bit isolated, a bit alone. And so that's when some of the feeding challenges sort of crop up. And then probably the last, I know. And then the last more common challenge is just around support. Women, we're so amazing. I think we try to do everything ourselves, and we want to be strong and independent. And many of us have, before we've had babies, had great careers and been successful in whatever sort of goals we've chosen. And then we go to have our baby and we want to apply the same strategies for, success. But sometimes it's not always that simple. And then we wonder sort of why we're struggling, because we're trying to do everything ourselves. We're trying to do everything alone. But in fact, that's not how it's supposed to be. We're not supposed to do it all by ourselves. And so being able to know what supports might be helpful, know what's available, and even things like how to get your partner to be more helpful, how to get them involved. That's another challenge. And then, of course, settling in sleep is always the most one of the most commonly asked questions. So I work a lot in that area as well.
And you've been so busy in your practice that you're now looking into the digital space, which is so great, because I'm just, even listening to you talk, I'm thinking there must be so many old wives' tales that you correct on a daily basis, and myths. And I remember a girlfriend saying, well, if I put the bottles in the dishwasher, then they're sterilized. Can I wash the baby's clothes with our clothes? There's a million things, isn't there, that if you don't know, then and you can't use those same career strategies because this baby is so unpredictable. So tell us what you're doing in the digital space that's packaging up all that knowledge that you have that's probably a lot on repeat and how you're helping people.
Yes. So you're right. I mean, I'm having similar conversations, at least the same themes, because I'm seeing some of those common concerns crop up. And it's hard to hear sometimes, to be honest, because, someone comes in with a concern, and then after we've had a chat and maybe it's all normal, and they didn't need to be concerned in the first place. And they just, they're relieved, of course, but they know how much time they've spent worrying about this, how much stress that's caused in this little family. And the phrase, "Oh, why didn't anyone tell us that before?" is common. If I had $1 for every time I heard that, and that makes me sad, actually, because we do really well with pregnancy care and birth care overall, I think, but we can improve postnatal care. And so my hope is to get information to families before that stress, before those, late nights Googling and the worry and the difficulty that causes, before waiting to come and see me and then having that, "Oh, why didn't anyone tell me" moment. So that was, my first reason to sort of bring in the online world. The second reason, of course, is about me being one person, and I can't. I'm busy, and I'm booked out, and so people can wait a little while to see me. But when you have a newborn, a week, 3 days even is a really long time to wait if you've got a concern about something. And so this is sort of helping to bridge that gap so that, I would still want to work in this space. I still want to see people face to face and have a chat. But it's just providing some of the basics just to help people understand things and alleviate some of the stress. And then the other thing is that it's all very well to say, "I would love you to have this information and I wish all women had this information," but I've been that woman as well, and only being able to focus on my pregnancy birth journey. And also in pregnancy, we're busy, and when a baby comes along, we're even busier. So many people don't get to all those classes. They don't, they can't spend 3 Saturdays and get their partner to come along. They can't do the, however many weeks of night times. And also they can't commit a big amount of time to learning because, our brains are busy with other things. And so my goal was to make it as easy as possible. So just the most simple, straightforward, what you need to know, get from A to B, information delivered right into your hands. You can sit on the couch and do it after work. You can sit on the maternity ward after you've had your baby if you're thinking, oh, wow, this is a lot, and just do it while you're on the ward even. So that's the goal.
If you're an allied health professional, specialist GP or specialist, and you've been hearing a lot of buzz about creating a healthcare course for your practice, but you're not sure what's in it for you, then take a look at my brand new guide, 10 Ways a Healthcare Course Will Save You Time and Make You Money. I've worked with private practices of all shape and size very closely over the last 17 years. And I've put together this guide to show you all of the different ways that you can implement a healthcare course inside your practice, completely in alignment with all of your ethical guidelines and regulations, so that you can reach more people, increase your time freedom, and generate a new revenue stream for your practice as well. Take a look at all the ways that a healthcare course can benefit you in the free guide today. You've got 3 beautiful little mini courses. Tell us what the topics are of each of those.
Yes, so these kind of address those common concerns. So number 1, we have what to expect beyond birth. So this is super simple, super short and sweet. It's just 4 lessons and it's easy. You can listen to it in the background. You can just watch me talking, or you can look at some of the content that I've included in the videos. And it will just cover the basics. What do you need to know about looking after a baby and looking after yourself beyond birth?
Great.
So that's number 1.
And I should just add that the lessons are really short too and easy, so that when you're baby brained, you can just grab and go.
Yeah, grab and go. Like,
love it.
5 minutes, 10 minutes, done.
Perfect.
Easy. And then, of course, I always give a workbook, and that just has 3 key points. You can print that off, have that next to you. But of course, also come back and rewatch the lessons as many times as you like as well, because sometimes a concept is just a bit like, what did you say? So replay, rewind, whatever you need to do. And so the next one is breastfeeding basics.
Great.
So that's really everything you're going to need to know to get started. It's the steps, what we're aiming for, and then some troubleshooting points that come up commonly, managing your supply and how much milk do you give your baby? How often do you feed your baby? Those sorts of topics. So everything you need to get you started. And again, it's sort of designed for any path in your journey, whether you're pregnant and thinking, okay, yes, I want to breastfeed. How can I really improve the chances of that being a good journey for me? Or you've just had baby and you're on the ward and you're thinking, oh, this is a lot harder. And okay, pop the video on, have a little look. What are the steps? Let's go through that. Or, of course, when you get home as well.
Beautiful.
And then, and then the last, most common topic of all time is called Settle to Sleep. So we're looking at how to settle babies and tips about sleep in a really gentle, balanced way. It's all about information for newborns, because sleep changes as we grow and as babies grow. So there's different advice for different stages. So this is just all about settling and sleep for a newborn, which is really something that a lot of parents come to see me about, because it's a challenge sometimes.
You are going to save people so much time and guesswork and second guessing. Just in the sleep alone, I think we bought 12 different sleep suits and bottles and wraps, and then someone said, I think you're confusing your baby.
No.
Just getting one, you're such a calm voice of experience and wisdom. Following along with you would be just so much easier than winging it. So thank you on behalf of all of the families for doing this work. Where can people go to find out more about your little beautiful mini courses?
Yeah, so my website's probably a good first point, just drfrancisknight.com.au. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook, but more so Instagram, and my handle is just at Dr. Francis Knight to keep it simple. So yeah, start there, have a bit of a look. There's free resources, there's interviews, there's lots of information around. And then of course there's access to my courses. And I do a monthly newsletter as well, where I like to just, bring all the lovely resources together and keep people updated with what's new. So that's a lovely way that people can follow along. And again, just make it easy. I'm just going to hand deliver you on a silver platter some information that you need to know. So you can just check your inbox once a month and just get updated.
So good. Dr. Francis in your pocket. I love it. I wish I had you in my pocket when I was a new mum. All those crazy questions.
I know.
It's been so lovely talking to you, Francis. Thank you again.
Thank you for having me.
Can't wait to help spread the word about the amazing, important work that you're doing. So thank you.
No, thank you. It's been a real lovely journey, and I'm really grateful to have had your support along the way. I think what you've provided me with is a framework for how to deliver what I'm trying to achieve in a way that's going to help families. And so that support has really been invaluable from working with you. So I'm deeply, deeply grateful. Thank you.
Okay, we'll talk to you soon. Bye now.
Bye.